The millionaire rescues an orphan girl left on the highway and reveals a shocking secret. Rain pounded the windshield like a violent drumbeat. Lightning split the sky, sharp and brutal. Lucas Thompson gripped the steering wheel as his car slipped through the empty night, the highway slick and unfamiliar beneath him. His once polished black SUV now looked faded, a ghost of its former grandeur. Much like him. Just weeks ago, Lucas lived in the lap of luxury, surrounded by marble floors, endless parties, and riches that seemed untouchable. Now, his mansion felt like a cage filled with shadows and memories, every room whispering what was lost. Suddenly, a tiny, trembling figure appeared down the wet road, a splash of white in the dark, small and fragile. Lucas slammed on the brakes, heart thumping like a war drum in his chest. He squinted through the rain and saw her, a little girl, no older than 8, soaked to the bone, eyes wide with terror. She was alone. No parents. No. Without thinking, Lucas threw his door open, calling her name, though he didn't even know it yet. Hey, come here. It's okay. Her small hands gripped his trembling fingers. She whispered, Mia. The night howled around them, the storm beating harder, thunder crashing like a warning. Lucas didn't ask questions. He started the car again, gently wrapping a blanket around Mia. His mansion loomed ahead, dark and hollow. But for the first time in weeks, there was a flicker of warmth inside him. Inside the house, the silence swallowed them. The walls held decades of wealth and regret. Mia's eyes flicked over every inch, untouched by the dust or darkness. She moved like she belonged, and yet was afraid. An orphan, trapped not just in the storm, but in history she barely understood. Lucas watched her closely. She was sharp, her words crisp with knowledge far beyond a child her age. She knew things about his family, secrets buried deep, names whispered only in hushed voices behind closed doors. How? Why? Her intelligence was unsettling, a puzzle piece that didn't quite fit, yet felt familiar. As the night crawled on, strange noises crept outside. A car's engine rumbled faintly in the distance, then stopped. Lucas caught his breath. A shadow moved. Someone was watching. From his past, a face long hidden stepped closer. Someone dangerous. Someone who knew the cracks in Lucas's empire. The kind of person who wouldn't hesitate to tear down what little he had left. The storm outside mirrored the storm inside Lucas. A battle between hiding in the ruins or stepping into the unknown. Then, Mia dropped a bombshell. Her voice was soft but fierce. Something about her bloodline, her last name, it linked her to Lucas in ways he never dreamed. This wasn't just about saving a scared girl on the highway anymore. This was about facing a past darker than any storm and a future neither of them ever saw coming. Lucas felt the weight settle deep in his chest, squeezing tight. The mansion creaked, the storm raged, and the line between past and present blurred into one. What would he do now? Could he protect Mia and himself from the secrets and the threats closing in? Or would the ruins of his old life swallow them both whole? Hey, before you continue with this incredible story, I have an important warning for you. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube has removed their subscriptions without warning. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content. And while you're there, leave that powerful like. It helps me a lot with the algorithm. Oh, and tell me in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love meeting all the amazing people who are part of this community. Your participation makes a difference. Let's interact." Lucas felt the weight settle deep in his chest, squeezing tight. The mansion creaked, the storm raged, and the line between past and present blurred into one. Then, the unexpected happened. A loud crash echoed through the house. Lucas jumped, every nerve in his body on high alert. Mia looked at him, her eyes wide, a flicker of recognition dancing across her face. "What was that?" she whispered. Before he could answer, his front door flew open as if the storm had invaded. A tall figure stepped inside, dripping wet, silhouetted against the lightning flashing behind them. Lucas's heart dropped. It was someone he recognized, a man from his past, someone who had promised nothing but ruin. "Let her go, Lucas," the man said, voice heavy with disdain. "You don't know who she truly is." Lucas squeezed Mia's hand tighter, ready to protect her at all costs. "Get out," he growled, his voice like gravel. "You have no business here." But the intruder took a step forward, his expression a mixture of anger and triumph. "Oh, but I do," he continued, eyes narrowing. "Because she is not just any girl. She's your sister." The words hung in the air like a thick fog. Lucas felt the world shift beneath him. "What are you talking about?" he shouted, rage and confusion mixing into a storm inside him. "Your parents, they never told you, did they? Your mother had a son before you. He died. And then she had Mia, adopted her, changed her name." Mia's eyes flickered with recognition. "Sister?" she echoed, barely above a whisper. Lucas scanned her face, searching for any sign of deception, but found only fear. "That's a lie. My parents would never." "I have the papers," the man snapped, pulling a crumbled envelope from his pocket and tossing it onto the floor. "They thought they could bury the truth, but it never stays buried. That child has a right to her inheritance, to everything." With trembling hands, Lucas picked up the envelope. The name on the document was familiar, tinged with everything Lucas had wanted to forget. He felt the walls of his world closing in. What if this was true? What if his parents had lied? Mia looked up at him, her gaze steady. "If it's true, Lucas, what does that mean for us?" The storm outside seemed to roar louder, mirroring the chaos inside him. Memories flooded back. His parents' whispers, the strained smiles, the gaps in family photos. Suddenly, his home felt less like a sanctuary and more like a trap filled with secrets. The intruder pressed on, sensing the weakness. "You can't protect her from the truth, Lucas. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. This isn't just about you anymore." Thunder crashed, and all at once, everything felt fragile. Lucas dropped the envelope, heart racing. The pieces of his life, once so neatly arranged, were unraveling. "What do we do now?" Mia's voice trembled, filling the silence that followed. As Lucas looked back at her, he felt the weight of the truth settling like a stone in his stomach. Could he really protect her? Or had the past come crashing down in a way he could never have anticipated? The shadows in the mansion stretched longer, and the storm outside reminded him there were no easy answers, only questions that cut deep. He took a shaky breath, trying to steady himself. What would he choose to believe? And would that choice cost them everything? Lucas felt the weight settle deep in his chest, squeezing tight. The mansion creaked, the storm raged, and the line between past and present blurred into one. Then The unexpected happened. A loud crash echoed through the house. Lucas jumped, every nerve in his body on high alert. Mia looked at him, her eyes wide, a flicker of recognition dancing across her face. "What was that?" she whispered. Before he could answer, his front door flew open as if the storm had invaded. A tall figure stepped inside, dripping wet, silhouetted against the lightning flashing behind them. Lucas's heart dropped. It was someone he recognized, a man from his past, someone who had promised nothing but ruin. "Let her go, Lucas," the man said, voice heavy with disdain. "You don't know who she truly is." Lucas squeezed Mia's hand tighter, ready to protect her at all costs. "Get out!" He growled, his voice like gravel. "You have no business here." But the intruder took a step forward, his expression a mixture of anger and triumph. "Oh, but I do," he continued, eyes narrowing, "because she is not just any girl. She's your sister." The words hung in the air like a thick fog. Lucas felt the world shift beneath him. "What are you talking about?" he shouted, rage and confusion mixing into a storm inside him. "Your parents, they never told you, did they? Your mother had a son before you. He died. And then she had Mia, adopted her, changed her name." Mia's eyes flickered with recognition. "Sister?" she echoed, barely above a whisper. Lucas scanned her face, searching for any sign of deception but found only fear. "That's a lie. My parents would never." "I have the papers," the man snapped, pulling a crumbled envelope from his pocket and tossing it onto the floor. They thought they could bury the truth, but it never stays buried. That child has a right to her inheritance, to everything. With trembling hands, Lucas picked up the envelope. The name on the document was familiar, tinged with everything Lucas had wanted to forget. He felt the walls of his world closing in. What if this was true? What if his parents had lied? Mia looked up at him, her gaze steady. "If it's true, Lucas, what does that mean for us?" The storm outside seemed to roar louder, mirroring the chaos inside him. Memories flooded back, his parents' whispers, the strained smiles, the gaps in family photos. Suddenly, his home felt less like a sanctuary and more like a trap filled with secrets. The intruder pressed on, sensing the weakness. "You can't protect her from the truth, Lucas. The longer you wait, the worse it gets. This isn't just about you anymore." Thunder crashed, and all at once, everything felt fragile. Lucas dropped the envelope, heart racing. The pieces of his life, once so neatly arranged, were unraveling. "What do we do now?" Mia's voice trembled, filling the silence that followed. Lucas began, but before he could finish, there was another crash. This time, it was louder, much closer. The glass chandelier above them shattered into a million tiny shards, raining down like confetti of despair. They ducked instinctively, but it wasn't the storm that had shattered the light. From the swirling rain outside, a figure stumbled inside, soaked and battered. It was a woman, familiar and yet unrecognizable. Lucas's breath caught in his throat. "Mom?" he croaked, disbelief washing over him. She looked at him, her eyes wild with fear and urgency. "Lucas, you have to listen to me. It's not just Mia." Just then, the man who claimed Mia was his sister laughed, a cold, hollow sound that echoed through the cracked marble halls. "You didn't really think the lies ended there, did you?" His eyes danced with wicked glee. Lucas felt the blood drain from his face, The world twisted, fracturing into a million pieces. "What do you mean?" he shouted, panic clawing at him. "I was there when it all began," the woman gasped, every word spilling out like a dam breaking. "Your father, he made deals, dark ones. Mia's not just your sister. She's the key to it all, the reason everything crashed down." Lucas shook his head, trying to reconcile the pieces. Nothing made sense. "What are you saying?" Before she could answer, a deafening roar erupted outside. The storm morphed into something more sinister, a torrential wind tearing through the trees, uprooting everything in its path. The flash of lightning illuminated a shadow in the distance, a figure looming, watching. Mia clutched Lucas's arm, fear etched across her small face. "What's happening?" He felt everything he thought he knew slip away. Before Lucas could respond, the intruder grinned, his eyes glinting with malevolence. "You're standing on the edge of a chasm, Lucas. Will you save her, or will everything you love be consumed by the truth?" Lucas looked at Mia, then back at his mother. Time stretched, uncertainty thickening the air around them. What lay ahead was darker than any storm they faced, and he realized the storm was just beginning. The storm crashed against the mansion like it was trying to tear the roof off. Lucas's heart raced as he looked from his mother to Mia and back again. Confusion swirled around him, overwhelming every rational thought. The world felt like it was closing in. "Mia, listen to me," his mother pleaded, her voice shaking. "There are things you don't understand. The past is not what you think it is." Then, without warning, the ground trembled beneath them. A deafening boom echoed from the basement, rattling the frames on the walls. Lucas and Mia exchanged panicked glances just as the lights flickered and died. They were plunged into darkness, the storm outside, a wild beast roaring for control. "Mom, what's happening?" Lucas's voice trembled. "I don't know, but we can't stay here," she said, her grip tightening on Lucas's arm. "We need to leave, now." But just as they turned to escape, the ominous shadows shifted in the darkness. The intruder grinned even wider, his presence a dark cloud hanging over them. "Oh, you're not going anywhere," he sneered. Suddenly, a blinding flash of light split the dark room. An explosion above, but this was no ordinary one. Lucas felt the heat rush past him moments before the sound thundered in his ears. The chandelier collapsed, shattering glass and debris all around them. They ducked and scrambled, but not before a sharp shard sliced through Lucas's arm. Pain shot through him, white-hot and searing. "Mia, get back!" he yelled, clutching his wound. But she didn't listen. Instead, she rushed toward him, her small hands reaching out. Then came a chilling laugh from the intruder. "See? This is exactly why you can't save her, Lucas. The truth is buried beneath all this chaos." Lucas searched Mia's face, feeling his heart clench. "We have to keep moving." But just as he turned to lead them out, someone came crashing down through the ceiling. It was a woman, dressed in a torn suit, hair soaked and wild. Lucas's breath hitched. She looked up, eyes blazing with an unsettling familiarity. "Mom?" he gasped, shaking his head in disbelief. "But how?" "We don't have time. They're coming," she shouted, dragging him and Mia closer. In her hands, she clutched something, a small ornate box, locked tight. The intruder smirked. "You really think the game's over, don't you? The secrets don't just die, they become alive. You have no idea what you're involved in." Lucas felt a knot in his stomach. Those words hung heavy like a lead ball. "What game?" he asked breathlessly. "Everything you thought was your life, your parentage, your fortune, it's a lie. And she," he pointed at Mia, "is the key to everything. Unlocking that box will reveal what truly lies in your bloodline." Mia's eyes widened in terror, darting back and forth between the adults. "It's the truth, isn't it?" she whispered, realizing the implications. Then, without warning, the ground shook violently again, sending Lucas sprawling to the floor. The box slipped from his mother's fingers, tumbling and coming to rest just at his feet. As the dust settled, the box began to pulse with an ethereal glow, illuminating the entire room. A bright light poured forth, wrapping around Mia and Lucas like a warm embrace, drowning out the shadows. The intruder took a step back, eyes wide, horror etched across his face. No, it can't be. Not now. But it was too late. The light surged forward, revealing a hidden truth that shattered the very foundation of their reality. Lucas felt the truth washing over him, cold and relentless, as the reality of who he and Mia really were expanded before them. "Your past is intertwined with something much darker than any of us imagined," his mother breathed, voice trembling, as if she were on the brink of a revelation. Mia turned to Lucas, her expression fierce, filled with a mix of fear and determination. "What does this mean, Lucas?" Lucas looked back at her, the storm still howling and the light enveloping them. He felt something shift deep within him. The question burned in the air, heavy with uncertainty. What new horror was unfurling before them? And could they possibly face it together? The light from the box surged like a tidal wave, flooding the room and enveloping them in its glow. Lucas could feel the warmth on his skin, an oddly comforting sensation. Amidst the sea, the shadows receded, and for a brief moment it felt like they were safe. But then, everything changed. The box vibrated violently, as if it had a heartbeat of its own, and the air crackled with energy, making Lucas's hair stand on end. Just as suddenly, the light shot upward, striking the ceiling with a blinding flash, fracturing it in multiple directions. In that instant, the room tilted, and the walls seemed to melt away, revealing a swirling mist. The ground trembled, and they were no longer in the mansion. They stood on the precipice of something far more profound. Lucas realized they were standing at the threshold of a hidden world, a place where truths floated like dust motes in the air, waiting to be uncovered. "What is happening?" Mia's eyes widened, and a sense of awe mixed with dread painted her small face. The light coalesced into a figure, a woman. She appeared as if she had stepped right out of the storm itself, ethereal and shimmering. Lucas's heart raced. He fell. "Mia," the woman said, her voice a haunting melody. "You are more than what you know. You are tied to this legacy in ways you cannot yet comprehend." Lucas didn't know what to think. "Who are you?" he demanded, instinctively stepping closer to Mia, guarding her. "I am the keeper of truth," she replied, gaze piercing straight into Lucas's soul. "Your family's past is tangled in shadows, corruption, pain, loss. You have been sheltered from the truth, Lucas. It's time to remember." Suddenly, the intruder emitted a roar of anger and lunged forward, attempting to grab the illuminating box. But the keeper raised her hand, and a surge of energy threw him back, slamming him against the wall with a hard thud. The air shimmered around him, brightening in response to his fury. "My parents kept us apart for a reason," Lucas shouted, desperation creeping into his voice. "They're dead now. They're gone. Why are you bringing all this back?" "Because you must confront it," she insisted, pain etched into her features. "Mia is the key, not just to your legacy, but to your salvation, Lucas." "Salvation?" Mia whispered, stepping forward. "What do you mean?" At that moment, the Keeper's eyes glinted with a terrifying truth. "Your connection goes back centuries. The truth about your bloodline. It's entwined with darkness, a legacy of power, but it is also a burden, one that requires sacrifice." Just then, the ground beneath them shook violently, and everything around them began to splinter. Lucas looked at his mother, then at Mia. Fear etched across their faces. The air was electric, humming with dread. And then came the ultimate twist. A blinding flash erupted from the box. Lucas felt a jolt, and suddenly the realization hit him. "You're not the keeper of truth. You're the embodiment of our family's curse." "No!" she screamed, her voice blending with the wind's wails. "I have come to save you, not doom you." As the room collapsed around them, the strands of light began to pulse, revealing horrifying images of past events, betrayals, heartbreak, and blood-soaked promises. Lucas's mind reeled. Was the family legacy truly a curse? Would this revelation shatter them all? Amidst the chaos, the Keeper reached for Mia, her hand trembling. Only she can choose. Will you embrace the legacy, or will it consume you all? Mia's eyes darted between Lucas and the Keeper, uncertainty deep within their depths. "What if I don't want it?" she whispered, heart racing. "What if you have no choice?" Lucas asked, panic flooding his voice. As the world around them spun, he wondered whether the real storm was just beginning, or if they had already sealed their fates. The light pulsed violently, illuminating the room and casting eerie shadows that danced around them. Lucas's heart raced, and he felt a lump rise in his throat. The room seemed to waver between reality and something much darker. Panic echoed in the air, thick and suffocating. "Lucas, what does this mean?" Mia's small voice trembled beside him. Her eyes darted fearfully between him and the shimmering figure. The Keeper's face was grave, urgency rushing through her words. "You don't understand, Mia. The truth isn't just about you. It's about the legacy you carry. It demands a bearer. Will you take it?" Before anything could be said, the intruder, still reeling from the burst of light, pushed himself up against the wall. He looked wild. Desperation etched on his features. "You're lying. The legacy was always meant for someone else. Someone stronger. Someone who wouldn't falter under pressure." As if the storm itself responded to his rage, another crash echoed, shaking the very floor beneath their feet. Lucas clutched Mia tighter, dread pooling in his gut. Then the unthinkable happened. The entire wall behind the Keeper broke apart, splintering like dry wood. What emerged from the rubble was something Lucas had only dreamed of. A tall, shadowy figure, cloaked in darkness, with eyes glowing an otherworldly green. It laughed, a hollow sound that gnawed at the edges of Lucas's sanity. "This is what you've unleashed," the Keeper screamed, stumbling back as the shadow advanced. The air grew cold, and Lucas felt a shiver run down his spine. "Who? What are you?" Mia's voice quivered, barely above a whisper. "Ruin, dear child. I am the past you ignored, the darkness you tried to forget, and I will claim what is mine." The shadow lunged forward, its chilling presence suffocating the room. The keeper cried out, but the shadow was faster, wrapping around her like smoke. She gasped, starting to wither and fade. "You don't understand. They'll all pay," were her last words before she vanished into the void. Lucas stumbled back, breathless. "No! What just happened?" He turned to Mia, who was staring at the spot where the keeper had stood, a look of horror etched onto her face. The intruder, sensing vulnerability, leered at them, eyes glinting with mad delight. "This is your consequence. The truth is that legacy cannot be controlled. You think it's about you? It's about who you are not." His words slashed through the air, leaving a bitter taste. "What do you mean?" Lucas demanded, feeling the ground shift beneath him. "What don't we know?" Everything felt scattered, and the shadows were closing in. But there, in the chaos, Mia's eyes lit up with an unexpected clarity. "If I am the key, then I will use it. There has to be a way to stop this." Then it hit Lucas like a punch to the gut. "But Mia, if you unlock your legacy, what will it mean for us?" His voice quaked with fear. What if she became something they could no longer recognize? Suddenly, the ground shook violently again, the walls of their reality trembling. Screams echoed in the distance. Lucas felt his chest tighten as the weight of understanding sank deeper. Before he could object, a flash erupted from Mia. She was glowing with the same light from the box. "I won't let you take me! I choose my own fate!" But just then, the intruder lunged, his hand shooting toward her. "No! You're making a mistake!" And in that split second, the world shattered, breaking apart as the light consumed everything around them. Lucas's heart raced, and terror gripped him. "Lucas, help!" Mia's voice was swallowed by the chaos, and the world imploded into darkness. In that fleeting moment, something twisted deep within him. Were they awakening a power that could save them, or unleashing a darkness that would consume them all? And the last thought in Lucas's mind, swirling like smoke in his memory: who was Mia, really? And what had she just chosen? The world imploded into darkness. Lucas felt the sensation of being torn apart, like a piece of fabric unraveling at the seams. He grasped Mia's hand tighter, desperate to anchor them both in the chaos that roared around them. "Mia!" he shouted, his voice barely cutting through the chaos. She was glowing, a beacon of light in the abyss. But that light was pulsing erratically, like a heartbeat caught in panic. The shadow, a reflection of their darkest fears, hovered nearby, watching like a predator ready to pounce. It was suffocating. Lucas felt the air grow thick, almost unbreathable. "No, not now!" the intruder roared, scrambling back against the wall. He was tangled in the destruction, panic clawing at his features. "You're going to destroy everything!" "It's too late," shouted the keeper, once powerful, now just a whisper of her former self, as her presence faded further into the mist. Suddenly, a crack echoed ominously, followed by a blinding flash that he couldn't process. Light surged, illuminating the darkness, revealing Mia flickering between the ethereal glow and the shadow surrounding them. "Mia!" Lucas screamed again, feelings of dread crashing over him like waves. "Don't let it take you!" As the light intensified, Mia's eyes locked onto Lucas's. "I choose my own fate," she declared, voice rising with an unearthly strength. An explosion of energy erupted, throwing Lucas back as he lost his grip on Mia. He gasped, scrambling to regain his footing. He looked up in horror as the shadows spiraled, wrapping around Mia. "No!" he shouted, desperation sending his heart into a panic. In that moment, the shadows cloaked Mia, merging with her brilliant light. She screamed, a sound so raw and visceral it clawed at his insides. Lucas lunged forward, but the whirlwind flared, throwing him against the wall with a spine-tingling crash. Then came the unfathomable. The shadows reformed into a shape, distorting and swirling until a figure emerged. It was an older version of Mia, but twisted, dark hair cascading like a storm cloud, features sharp and cold, eyes glimmering with malicious intent. "What?" Lucas breathed, shaking his head in disbelief. "Who are you?" Mia's voice rang out from behind the figure, but it was faint, muffled. "Lucas, I can feel her. She's here." "Welcome back," the shadowed Mia sneered. "Did you think you could escape me?" Lucas's chest tightened. "No, it can't be." "Yes, she is a part of me," Dark Mia declared, a surge of power rippling from her. "And now we are one. The legacy demands a choice." "No!" Lucas cried. "You're not her!" He was furious, terrified, desperate. But the older Mia laughed, an unsettling sound. "And yet, here I stand. The power is bound to our bloodline, Lucas. You are just a pawn in this game." The world trembled, and cracks splintered through the very fabric of reality. Lucas felt his heart race, each beat a countdown. "This is not happening," he roared. But it was. The shadows encased them all, a cacophony of words, voices of their ancestors tangled in a tempest of bitterness and jealousy. Everyone was watching. Everyone had been waiting for this moment. They had been shackled by secrets too long buried. "Will you deny your fate?" Dark Mia taunted, stretching her hands towards Lucas. The energy crackled between them, a web of chaos and potential. Lucas felt a chill run up his spine. The choice loomed larger than life. But right before everything exploded into chaos, Mia screamed, "You're not taking me! You'll regret underestimating us!" In that breath, Lucas realized the truth. The power had always been hers, waiting to be claimed. Their connection was deeper than he had known. Then, in a blink, everything shifted. The dark version of Mia faded, dissolving against the blinding light. Lucas felt a pulse of warmth wash over him, flooding his entire being with renewed hope. But it came with a terrifying question. Who were they really? What other secrets lay hidden in their bloodline? The question lingered in the air as the world spun back into view, leaving Lucas breathless, the enormity of choice hanging heavy between them. The world spun back into view, leaving Lucas breathless, the enormity of choice still heavy between them. Mia stood radiant in her light, but with a shadow creeping at the edges, her every breath filled with uncertainty. "Can we really face this together?" she whispered, each word quaking with doubt. "What if I can't control it?" The darkness flickered around them, taunting, echoing back her concerns. Lucas clenched his fists, feeling the weight of his protective instinct surge. "You won't be alone. We'll figure this out together." But at that moment, the air shifted again, thickening like a storm cloud. A sudden gust blew through, and Lucas turned to see a figure emerging from the shadows that consumed the room. But it wasn't the dark version of Mia. No, it was someone else entirely. "Hello, Lucas," the figure said, voice smooth and chilling. He stumbled back, heart racing. "Dad? Yes, it's me." The voice reminded him of comforting lullabies and bedtime stories, suddenly twisted into something sinister. The figure stepped closer, light flickering across his familiar face. But it was wrong, marred by something unsettling. "I came to witness this moment." Lucas recoiled, memories crashing over him like waves. His father's laughter echoing through the halls of their mansion, warmth replaced now with ice. "You can't be here! You're dead?" his father interrupted, smirking with a darkness Lucas had never known. "Barely. You think I'd just disappear? No, I've been watching. Always watching." Mia's eyes widened. "What do you want?" "To collect what is rightfully mine," he replied, gaze darkening as he pointed to the pulsing box. "That legacy is meant for our bloodline. It was never about you, Mia. It was about our family, about power." "Stop!" Lucas shouted, desperation flooding his voice. "You have no right." "Oh, but I have every right," his father sneered, stepping closer until the shadows coiled around him like a cloak. "And you, son, you've been a fool to think you could escape this. I left you for a reason." Those words hit like a punch, knocking the wind from Lucas's lungs. "What do you mean?" The shadows twisted, engulfing Mia's light and snuffing it out momentarily. Lucas felt panic rise in his chest, reaching for her. "Mia?" She reappeared, her light flickering, but not extinguished. "What's happening?" His father took another step, smug satisfaction radiating from him. "Your mother and I had plans. This all began long before you were born. The power was supposed to pass through me, to you. But a weakling is not worthy." "No!" Lucas shouted, rage bubbling, fists clenched to defend the sister he never knew he had. "You're not taking her!" The shadows surged forward, trying to pull Mia away again. Lucas lunged, but just as his fingers grazed her arm, a deafening crack split the air. The box reacted violently, throwing out waves of energy, a blinding flash engulfing them once more. And then, just as suddenly as it began, everything stopped. The shadows collapsed, and silence filled the space. Lucas blinked, heart racing. "Mia?" But she didn't respond. As he turned, dread settled like a weight on his chest. Where was she? Instead, he found the box lying emptily between them, silent now. The air crackled, and the shadows retreated, revealing an ominous truth. "Congratulations, Lucas." His father stepped forward, expression mocking. "You've unlocked the final secret of our legacy." Lucas felt a chill creep over him. "What did you do?" His father smiled, a chilling sight. "You will soon find out. But let me give you one last gift, the pain of loss." Suddenly, the truth felt like a dagger in his chest. The importance of Mia, twisted into something darker, something he couldn't comprehend. Everywhere, hints of betrayal hung in the air. "What have you done?" he whispered. "Worry not. You will see your sister again, in time." Lucas sank to his knees, disbelief painting his vision in shades of gray. He had been fighting to protect them both, only to discover the brutal reality of manipulation. "Is it true? Was it all a lie?" The silence echoed back, swallowed by the shadows now rising once more. and as Lucas looked upward defiantly, a shuddering breath escaped him. What was next? What would it cost him to unravel the truth? Would he have the strength to face it all alone? The world remained heavy with silence, and Lucas felt a pit of dread sink further into his stomach. He clenched his fists tight, trying to ignore the panic surging through him. "You have no idea what you're unleashing," he warned, his voice shaky but firm. But his father only chuckled, that cold, uncaring laugh echoing through the emptiness. "And you're clueless about your family's legacy. It doesn't matter how tight you hold on to Mia, she's already bound to the darkness. We all are." Suddenly, the box emitted an agonizing shriek, a sound that seemed to claw at the very fabric of reality. Lucas stumbled back, heart racing as the walls quivered like a living thing. It felt alive. "Mia!" he shouted. But the shadows had begun to swirl again, the pulse of energy from the box intensifying, pulling Mia toward its center. She struggled, her brilliance flickering. "No!" "Lucas!" Fear stabbed at Lucas's chest. He lunged forward, reaching out desperately. Just then, a blast of energy erupted from the box, sending Lucas crashing into a wall. The impact knocked the air from his lungs. As he gasped for breath, time seemed to slow. The room distorted, light bending and twisting into a vortex. Lucas's mind raced. Was this truly the end? But then, impossibly, everything went quiet. The chaos halted, the shadows froze, and suddenly, something else emerged from that vortex. Something he never saw coming. A woman stepped forward from the light. She radiated warmth, her presence soothing amidst the turmoil. Lucas squinted, recognizing her immediately. "Mom?" he gasped, voice hoarse. "But you're not—" "Yes, my love, I am," she replied, her voice gentle yet strong. "But more importantly, there's something you need to know." Without warning, the ground shook again, and Lucas braced himself. "What is it?" he demanded, feeling the weight of the world on his shoulders. "Mia's not just your sister," she said, her gaze piercing through Lucas's soul. "She's your twin." Lucas's mouth fell open, shock slamming into him like a brick wall. "What? That's impossible." "No," she insisted, stepping closer as the shadows recoiled. "The truth is far deeper than you realize. You two were separated at birth, to protect you from the curse that binds our family. Your father? He made a choice to keep one safe while dooming the other." The intruder's smug grin faltered, disbelief washing over his features. "That can't be true. You're lying." "I'm not." Lucas's mother pressed on, her determination unyielding. "Mia carries a power meant to be contained, something that could destroy all of us, but also save us. Together, you are stronger than you know." Lucas felt a surge of hope burst through the fear. "Mia!" he cried, turning back to her. "We're connected." The shadows withered at his mother's words, giving Mia a moment to break free. She stumbled into the light, her expression a mix of confusion and revelation. "But why didn't anyone tell us?" His mother hesitated, eyes filled with regret. "Because it was too dangerous. Your father—" "Enough!" the intruder roared, eyes wild with fury. The shadows surged, pushing against the light, trying to reclaim their power. "You think you can change destiny? This ends now." Then the world shifted again. From the box, a blinding light erupted, engulfing everyone. Lucas couldn't see, couldn't think. When the light dimmed, he opened his eyes. Everything had changed. They stood not in the mansion anymore, but on a cliff overlooking a vast ocean, waves crashing violently below. The air was heavy with salt, and the sky swirled with dark clouds. Lucas felt the weight of Mia's hand in his. But something was off. He turned to her. She wasn't herself. Her eyes held a depth of knowledge, a flicker of something ancient. "Do you feel it?" she breathed, voice steady, as if she were channeling a force beyond them. "What do you mean?" he asked, unease creeping back. But before she could respond, the intruder laughed again, this time filled with madness. "You think you can escape? You've only scratched the surface of what's to come. Welcome to your destiny." The ocean roared, swelling with energy, and there, at the edge, a figure materialized, tall and ethereal, guarding the secrets of the depths. The truth was far larger than Lucas had ever imagined, and he was no longer sure if they could confront it. What did it mean to be bound to someone he thought he knew, and how much more would the truth unravel? The winds howled, and Lucas realized, with dawning horror, that life as he knew it was gone. They were now part of something greater, and he didn't know if they could ever come back. What was this new destiny they would have to navigate together? As the wind howled and the waves crashed against the cliff, Lucas stood resolute, heart pounding. The shadow of his father loomed large, but he could feel Mia's presence beside him, grounding him, filling him with strength. The revelations hung heavy in the air, but they wouldn't let the darkness win. "Mia," he said, urgency in his voice, "we have to fight together. We can't let him control us." Mia looked up, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears, but filled with newfound determination. "You're right. We're not alone in this. We have each other." The shadows that threatened to envelop them flickered in response to their resolve. Lucas's father sneered, drawing power from the dark tide. "You think this is a game? You belong to the legacy. All of you." "No!" Lucas shouted, defiance igniting in his chest. "We're breaking free from it." The ground trembled beneath their feet, but Lucas and Mia stood firm. Their connection, forging a light that pushed back against the dark. The blinding glow from the box intensified, illuminating their faces and the tumultuous sea below. Every heartbeat resonated like a drum, calling forth courage. Suddenly, the figure of dark Mia returned, eyes eerily calm, but filled with sorrow. "You can't hide from the truth. It binds you. What you call binding, we call freedom," Mia shouted, her voice rising above the storm as she stepped forward. "This is our choice, not your curse." In that moment, something within the box burst forth, a bright light of pure energy that swirled around them, unraveling the shadows. Lucas felt warmth flood his chest, igniting memories of laughter and love long buried. Suddenly, everything slid back into focus. The truth, crystallizing with piercing clarity. The shadows shrieked, twisting and flailing as the light consumed them. Lucas and Mia felt the pulse of ancestral power surging through their veins, amplifying their resolve. "Now!" Lucas shouted, raising his hands in unison with Mia. Together! With a fierce shout, they unleashed strength that rippled through the air, sending the shadows sprawling back, as the very essence of their family flooded the void created by years of pain. As the darkness retreated, Lucas caught a glimpse of his father's expression, a mix of rage and fear. "No, you can't!" but the shadows collapsed under the light, swallowing his words. Suddenly, it all shifted. The box glowed, launching a beam of light that enveloped them completely. Then, silence. When Lucas opened his eyes, the cliff had vanished. Instead, they stood together in a lush field, sunlight bathing them in warmth. Birds chirped, the air hummed with life. Lucas felt relief wash over him. They had broken the hold of the legacy. "Mia," he breathed, looking around. "We did it!" But before they could celebrate, a presence lingered behind them. Lucas turned to see his mother, radiant and whole, stepping toward them with a soft smile. "You fought bravely." "My children," she said, her voice filled with love. "But the journey isn't over. There are still truths to uncover, ones entwined with your power." "What does that mean?" Mia asked, brows furrowing. "It means you must discover who you are, together and alone," she replied. "Your legacy can be a force for good. Choose wisely." With that, Lucas felt a tug at his heart. He looked at Mia, knowing they would step into this new world together. No longer bound by shadows, but propelled by the light of hope. The sun set in beautiful hues, rich colors blending in the sky. They embraced, feeling the weight of their past lift, revealing paths yet unexplored. But questions lingered in Lucas's mind. What other secrets lay ahead? What challenges awaited them in this new realm? As they moved forward, a sense of adventure sparked anew. The future stretched wide open before them, filled with uncertainty, but brimming with possibility. And then, everything faded into darkness. If you're eager to find out what lies ahead, you must subscribe now. Don't wait another second. There are more exclusive stories just waiting for you to discover. Click that like button to show your support. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. Your feedback means everything. And share this video with at least 5 friends who need to know how it ends. Now is the time to join this incredible journey. Let's keep the adventure alive together.